Meyuyam, notong Shelbi let Meisner yaka, no onatach, biquim koish, no piwi no yopoka nashmal chokya pa onganeshkin, no on shushavid ipi, alkan Washington DC Piscatawanga, and Nakostinga. Hi everyone, my name is Shelbi Nawilet Meisner. I'm Luceño and Cupeño, and I teach in the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies at the University of Maryland, where I also direct the Indigenous Futures Lab. Since we're gathering in Washington, D.C. for this talk, or you're gathering in Washington, D.C. for this talk, I want to begin by grounding us in place. D.C. is the archival capital of the settler world. This is where enormous federal repositories, national museums, and research libraries and other data infrastructures concentrate their authority. It's also the belly of a colonial system built on Piscataway, Nacotchtank, and Anacostan homelands, where indigenous nations face erasure not through disappearance, but through a federal recognition process that refuses to see them. And it matters that we name this here because archives have played a central role in that erasure. As you know from the slide on colonial knowledge extraction later on in this presentation, so many collections in DC and across the United States come from the violence of assimilation, salvage anthropology, and the seizure of indigenous lands, bodies, and knowledge. These systems shape how researchers encounter our communities through fragmentary records, biased description, racist metadata, and dispersed materials scattered across thousands of repositories. But that is only one part of the story. Across this region, there are powerful efforts to interrupt that erasure. The Akakik Foundation's public education work, Capital Native Nations, the indigenous artists and organizers at the Woolly Mammoth Theater, and community-led efforts to reassert presence, land relations, and sovereignty. At UMD, we recently founded the Indigenous Futures Lab to help support this wider ecosystem. We build networks across campus and across nations, and we bring Indigenous evaluation, community-based research, and relational methods into spaces that historically pushed Indigenous people to the margins. Indigenized Snack emerges from this context. The project recognizes the long history of what you see summarized in the following slides: archival dispersion, biased description, and the archival diaspora, and the massive scale of the problem documented by my colleagues following this. But instead of accepting that colonial infrastructure as fixed, we treat archives as sites where sovereignty and accountability can take new forms. My role in this project is to ground the work in Indigenous feminist evaluation methods and to ensure that the cultural technical systems we develop honor Indigenous governance over knowledge. The project team you'll hear from today are my trusted collaborators. They carry the technical and data expertise, and my job is to hold open the political and relational commitments behind the work. Indigenized Snack is a Mellon-funded collaboration with the Snack Cooperative, the University of Maryland, University of Virginia, and our Indigenous Advisory Board. It centers Indigenous authority in how archival description happens, and it builds towards systems that allow our communities to assert our own names, our own relationships, and our own knowledge structures across linked data environments. I'm thrilled that my colleagues are here to walk you through the details. I'm away today celebrating my partner's graduation, but I'm grateful to join you through this recording and grateful you've made space for Indigenous sovereignty inside a conversation about infrastructures that have historically worked against us. Thank you, and I'll hand it over to our team.